shooting multiples. So you see a tiny little bridge in there? That tiny little bridge at the top of the waterfall is like right down there. So anyway, I'm really liking that. I'd like to print that one big. I'm going to rate it a 5. Remember, it auto advances. So here we got a shot of Seattle. Probably also take a little while for it to load the preview. But there we have the Space Needle. We're in Seattle right now. The top of the Space Needle, they've painted a different color. And I like that quite a bit. Looks like it's nice rated. We'll do a 5, maybe a 4. All right, so it didn't advance after that, so that means I've probably gone through all the images. I'm going to type the letter G to go back to the grid. All right, so now these are all rated. So what can we do with that rating? Well, there's a couple of things we're going to be able to do as we progress through this session. And the first thing is we can filter our images. At the top of the grid area is what's known as the filter bar. And if you don't find this visible on your screen, this little gray bar going across the top, you're going to be able to find it, I believe, under the View menu. I'm not used to ever turning it off, but it's right there, Show Filter Bar. Keyboard shortcut for hiding or showing it is the / key. So if you want to get it out of the way to make your thumbnails bigger, hit /, hit it again, it'll show up. If you hate keyboard shortcuts, go to the View menu. Remember, it's called Show Filter Bar. Now with the filter bar, we have different things we can filter this by, so we're not looking at all the images. One of those things is an attribute that we've attached to the image. If you remember the other day when I showed you how to narrow down some images, we talked about doing flags or picks on the image. Here's where I could filter it to only show the ones that have been flagged, the ones that haven't been flagged, or the ones that have been rejected. And to the right of that, I have a setting for rating. So I could show everything that is 3 stars or above. I could show everything that's 4 stars or higher, or the things that are only 5 stars, and that can help me narrow things down. Now I know the ratings sound overly simple, and it's something you've possibly used before, but it's going to become much more useful when we combine it with a few other features in Lightroom. Because I have things that create automatic portfolios of my images and other things that are incorporated with those ratings. Once you've narrowed it down to only showing so many images based on ratings, if you want to get back to viewing them all, you have a choice called None right over here. Also in that filter bar, there are different settings you can search for, not just attributes like ratings and picks. You can also search based on metadata. And in this case, metadata can be a bunch of different information. Each one of these columns that is here can be changed. Right now, the column on the left is date. So if I wanted to find everything that was shot, let's say in 2012 in August, well, in this case, I only have one image that was done in August of 2012. But that's because I'm not working on my computer. I'm working on Creative Live's images, or their computer. I've only loaded the images for this session, not for my whole photo library. Otherwise, I'd find a bunch more in here, and I could really narrow it down and find things quickly. Or I can tell what camera, because I've had a 5D Mark III, I've had a Mark II, and I've had the Mark Nothing, and other cameras as well. Like I've also shot with a Nikon D800. I just don't have any of the shots with me in this folder. I can pick what lens that I might have shot with to narrow it down. If I want to find ones that are only shot with really wide-angle lenses, I could look for only fisheye shots, and so on. But here's the setup that I like to have in here that I find most useful for my particular workflow. And when I do this, let me look at all of the images that I have imported for Creative Live. So we have a large volume of images. I'll go to metadata, and you can change what each one of these columns is set to. And what I want to do is change this date column. I'll just go right up to the heading called date. When I mouse over it, I'll find a double arrow right next to the word date, and I can click to choose a different kind of search term. And what I'm going to set this to is, if I can find it, develop preset. Develop preset. And that's going to tell me in here how many images have default settings, and how many images have no preset, how many are set to custom. Custom means I manually adjusted those images. So I know that those images have been refined in some way. I can also come in